What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, SleepyGP. Today I'm gonna give you guys a quick tournament report on the deck that I took to take 37th in Glimwood challenge number 5 this past week. I just want to give you guys a little bit basis on the deck that I use and also the matchups that I've gone through, and also just some good news. As you guys can see, I have, or if you haven't heard on Twitter, I'm officially part of the MP Pimps team, along with a bunch of others like Thomas Brophy, Munchlacked, Floaty himself, Maxlow, Brophy, Daniel Huss, Danny Huss, and I think Mitch as well. If you guys haven't seen, go ahead and follow MP Pimps on Twitter if you want to get updates from our team in general. But on to our tournament report. I went ahead and took basically, this is the deck list I took. I basically just copied and pasted Raul Reddy's straight Urshifu list with the Chirachi engine, and honestly I think the deck ran very well. I was able to go 6-3. I just whiffed top 32 just because, as you can see, through a lot of, like, I had a lot of drops. A lot of players that I won against had drops, so I think that dropped my resistance a lot. I think my resistance was like at 45%. But yeah, I basically just took Raul Reddy's list and took it. I just wanted to run with it and see how I felt with it, and then maybe later I'll make some changes. I'm already thinking about changes that I'll talk about later. But let's go through our matchups real quick. Round 1, we played against a Tapu Koko. I lost. I know it's a good matchup, but it was just they reset stamp us into nothing, and I just couldn't get out of that. At the end, it was a Tapu Koko greens with Electrode as their energy accelerant. But we were able to quickly get to one prize, but then after that it was just tough to get out of because they reset stamped us and we just couldn't get out of it from that. Reset stamp para is very difficult to get around, but hey, whatever. And then we played against an E-turn. This match was insane because I had to go, I think I was going second, and on my first turn I had a terrible hand. I just remember having 2 researches and a VMAX, and I was like, okay, that's not bad. But then I top decked another VMAX and I had nothing else that was playable, so I basically had to just yeet 2 VMAXs straight away turn 1, and the whole game I was just playing on the back of just 1 VMAX the entire time. And since Eternatus is weak to fighting, I didn't think it was that big of an issue, but it becomes very hard to just play off of 1 VMAX the entire game. But I was able to clutch it. Not the cleanest wins. I got tunnel vision at the end when I got 2 prizes into boss acrobat gameplay, and I didn't realize that all I needed was a rapid strike energy to knock out 2 Zigzagoons that they had on the bench. It's just I got tunnel vision very bad in that game, and there are several ways I could have won. Like, there's some plays like I could have scoop up net and Giratina a weakness energy off, and I just got tunnel vision as soon as I saw that. As soon as I saw bats, boss bat was just in my head, and that's the only play I was going for. But yeah, let's just say I should have been punished in that game, but hey, we pulled it out, and went ahead and took the win there. And then we played against a Mewtwo Victini deck. Basically here we kind of they tried to go double Mewtwo route, and it didn't work for them because all we did was play the Chirachi. I don't remember exactly how we won, but I think we did take out a double Mewtwo's. Because they were going for weakness there with the Mewtwo's, which makes sense. But I think they could have gone a little bit more with they could have gone either way. They could have gone 1 Mewtwo, one Victini. That way the Victini can hit for 220 still and 2-shot us, because we're 2-shotting everything on their board anyway. But yeah, that's what happened. They couldn't get really out of that. Chirachi helped us out a lot in that matchup. And then against Jorge R, we played Mad Party against them. they just kind of, I don't know what they were doing. I kind of just put the Jirachi 2 on the bench, and they had a lot of mad partiers in there, but it looks like they were dead drawing a little bit. They threw a lot of energy early on in the game into their discard pile, and then basically I took out a Bunnelby, and then I sniped two Sinistes before they evolved. I think that's the name. I forget. I always confuse the evolutions of Sinistea and whatever the other one is, but whatever. The base form of Sinistea, I was able to snipe two of them, and then after that they just scooped. And then we played against Gabermont. I believe in this game they were able to hit, I don't remember the exact thing, but I think they were able to hit my VMAX first, and I think this kind of matchup, like with Victini versus straight Urshifu versus straight Victini, it's just basically who can get the hit off first kind of wins. Not always, but that seems to be what happens. Like if they get the hit off first, they can win, because we can always ping them, but then we can always get the hit off first with the attack, our first attack. I forget the name of that attack, I am sorry. But we're going through, we can hit them for 160 using Martial Arts Dojo or even a Zigzagoon. So that's how we can two-shot them. But again, it's kind of like if they get that two-shot, they can kind of pull ahead. So I think that's what happened here. After that, we played two ADPs. It was just, these were just, I took out the ADP and then was able to, I think, double, either both games I either double sniped, I don't remember exactly. I either double sniped a Dedenne and a pre-damaged Zacian on the bench, where I kind of hit them with our first move with a Rapid Strike, and then do damage on the Zacian when we're trying to KO the ADP, and then you just gust up the Dedenne and then kill that and the Zacian, and that's your 6 prizes there. And I believe I did that for one game, and on the other I think I took out the ADP, and then also did a double snipe on Dedenne or Crobat. I don't remember exactly which ones, but basically just did a double snipe with preset damage from before. I believe they had, I think one of them started either Crobat or Dedenne, but we did our first attack a Strafe, and we set up damage so that we can take out prizes later on in the game, and that's basically what we did. And then for my winning in, my guaranteed winning in was against Trainer Chip. Playing the mirror, not the exact same mirror, but basically the same archetype, just cards, a little bit of different cards here and there. The VMAX has just eluded me there, and I was just not drawing well there, and Trainer Chip just took the win there. And then for the last rounds, I figured I'd play out the last round. I played against my local physics AP. He was playing Tempo Zard, and honestly, this is one of the games where I probably misplayed a lot and wasn't punished for it. I was just one mistake was I should have gone, I went double VMAX right away, and what I should have done is probably gone VMAX, V, and then VMAX. At the last part of the game, it came down to him being able to KO my VMAX from my VMAX using a Blacephalon. He was able to knock one out with the Blacephalon, but then use the second one. He wasn't able to get there, and I had a great catcher in hand to take my final 2 prizes on the Dedenne. But he also prized, I'm not gonna lie, he told me after the game that he prized 2 Elders. So had he not prized 2 others, I think I would have lost, because of the fact that I evolved, and he probably would have gotten the energy he needed to take the whole game from there, because all he needed was to knock out a VMAX. He had a slow start, so that also affected it, because he didn't have Elders. He only had 2 in deck. So that affected the gameplay a lot. So that's why I think I should have gone VMAX v VMAX. That makes the game a little bit harder for him, because he has to either gust to win that, take that last prize, or he has to go through a VMAX with 330 HP at the end of the game. Another misplay in this game was I played very aggressive and was throwing resources a lot. And I think my issue is, one, I'm very scared of Temple Zard, and I feel like you always have to be like super fast, and that's not always true. Sometimes you need to slow down, save your resources. There was literally a turn where I went and played Professors of Research and yeeted away 2 Crobats, which typically is never good. That's basically taking all my draw away. So that's never good, because you don't want to be stuck with like a dead hand later on. So that's one, those are 2 misplays I kind of made. I should have gone VMAX v VMAX, and also not yeet away so many resources that could come back and punish me later on in the game. So yes, I admit I kind of basically, you know, I should have been punished for the way I was playing that game, but I wasn't. But that's just a card game, and that's something even though I won, I still need to learn from that, because had it been any other time, I probably would have lost that game. But yeah, that's my tournament report. That's the 60. Already, I don't know, just looking at these changes, this is the new list I'm kind of been messing with a little bit. I took out the Rachi and replaced it with a Mimikyu. I felt like the Rachi GX wasn't that good. I feel like in the matchups where Rachi GX was good were Dragapult, anything with a Dragapult, but like Dragapult can either, they play this Mimikyu on top of Power Plant, so all they really need to do is drop a ping on the Rachi GX and play this Mimikyu, or even play Power Plant, and it's useless, and it's a 2 prize liability on my bench. And another way Rachi GX is good is in the Mewtwo matchups, but that's what this Mimikyu is for. I think this Mimikyu, just from testing a couple games with it, already helps out more with the Mewtwo matchup, because you can just Zigzagoon, ping, throw the Mimikyu. They can't attack, so they basically, let's say they set up 3 energies on a Mewtwo, they just wasted those 3 energies, and they're just sitting there taking up space, where you can just go ahead and start taking prizes on little things such as the Denes and Crobats instead. So this is why I decided to replace the Rachi GX with a Mimikyu instead, just because, again, it doesn't really help us. The Rachi GX does not help us in the Dragapult matchup anyway, which is what we mainly used it for. And I believe I took out Cheryl for Mew. In my testing, I felt like there was a lot of times where I just lost to random snipe damage from a Cramorant. Basically, Mew makes Tempo Zard basically not be able to use their crams as an option, so you kind of force them to go into double Zard or Zard Blacephalon and try to take and they have to have a lot of energy to take out your VMAXs, and the fact that they only play really one boss makes that a little difficult. It makes it a little bit difficult for them to take out the Mew early on in the game. So I think that can help out, and just, you know, it helps out in the mirror. Like, Rapid Strike needs to take out the Mew before they can start setting up snipe damage on us as well. So if they waste the boss on us, that's fine. You know, it's not the end all be all for the mirror, but it can help us, you know. It makes them use more resources than they need to be able to do what they need to do. And then I'm trying out, I'm not 100% sure how much I feel about a Fion yet. I took out an escape rope for a Fion, because a Fion is basically half of an escape rope, but it's infinite. So I'm trying it out to see if maybe playing one Fion, one escape rope can kind of help us set up knockouts a little bit better. The only drawback to Fion is we don't have that switch effect like escape rope that kind of activates our first attack on the VMAX. So I'm kind of just trying to test it out, see what happens there. see what happens. See how I like the Fion. You know, that's just the change that I'm kind of looking at right now. Aside from that, yeah, I think I took out Cheryl as well. I don't know if I mentioned that, but Cheryl, I felt like it was a good card, and the only time I remember it coming into play was against the Eternatus. The Eternatus, since I only had one VMAX, it was doing 50. It did 50. They were able to do 50 damage with an Eviltal on it, and I was doing the math, and all they needed was an Zigzagoon ping and a full bench to knock it out. So I really had to use Cheryl to make sure my VMAX didn't die, because it was my only VMAX. But I just didn't find it. That's the only really time I found it come into play that I remember. And that was an extreme situation where like I only had one VMAX to play with. So I don't know if Cheryl is that good overall, but for now I'm just gonna take it out and see how I feel about it. But yeah, that is my tournament report for Glimwood. Glimwood challenge number 5 that had 200 people finish the tournament, which is insane. 200 people on a Thursday is insane numbers to see. Hope to see you guys at more Glimwood challenges on Thursdays, and I believe it's 6:15. Let me double check. I can check right now. The next one is, we can check right now for you guys. I always forget the times. Glenwood, that's yep. Next one is 6:15 EST time this Thursday coming up. So see you guys there. And if you guys like PTCG content, feel free to subscribe to the channel down below, leave a like on the video, and let me know down below what you think of the deck. What do you think of the changes that I'm testing right now? Just leave your comment down below. And have a good day, and peace.